Hey everybody, this is Ryan McGlone with the Fred Real Estate Group, and I wanted to wish happy holidays and a happy New Year's to you and all of your families. Hope that you guys had a great holiday season and had a chance to get outside and enjoy some of the snow that we've had here in Central Oregon. So I'm changing things up a little bit here with my monthly newsletter. I decided for the next year I'm going to kick every newsletter off with a quick video update on what I'm seeing in terms of national market trends in the real estate market, as well as some nuggets of what's going on here locally in Bend. And so to get things started for this issue, I wanted to briefly bring your attention to the Standard & Poor's National Home Price Index. So this is an index that the Standard & Poor's creates that takes a look at appreciation and depreciation trends across the country to help give you some insight into where the national real estate market is trending. They just released their October results, and for the month of October, the index came in at a positive 5.6% for the month. So some great news for those that are looking for appreciation gains in their homes. A couple other things about this number. This is the second month now that we're actually trending above the record high that was set for this index in 2006. So a lot of information out there suggesting that nationally we're going to continue on a strong trend as we head into 2017. Standard & Poor's, their forecast so far for 2017 for this index is coming in at about 4%. It's a little bit lower than what we're seeing in 2016, but still a really strong number. And their primary growth is being fueled by performance on the West Coast, predominantly Seattle and Portland, which are both trending well above 10% at this moment. The other piece of information that came out recently was the National Association of Realtors published their findings for their November real estate results. And one of the things that I found very interesting when I looked through their numbers is that sales units across the country for the month of November, when seasonally adjusted, came in at an all-time high. In fact, this again is another number that is preceding anything that we've seen since 2006. So another sign that when we're looking at real estate sales, things across the country are performing exceptionally well, and that the real estate market continues to really be a seller's market at the moment. Now, one of the things I do want to temper these numbers with is taking a look at how these numbers come about, right? When we're talking about the sales of a real estate, we're talking about an action that was really set in motion several months earlier, probably 35 to 45 days out. And that's because when somebody puts an offer in on a home and that offer is accepted, it usually doesn't translate into a sale for another 35 to 45 days out. So although these are great numbers that we're seeing, we do have to understand that these are numbers that are created from results that probably were set into motion sometime in September. And the reason that this is so important is because, of course, in November we had our own national presidential election, and we all know that when we have big events that are political or economic that occur like this, it can definitely impact consumer behavior. And fortunately enough, in the world of real estate, we can take a look at a more current value, which might paint somewhat of a picture for how that election is impacting our market. And what we can look at are pending sales. So those sales that were set into motion in the month of November, let's say, after the election, but haven't actually recorded as full-on sales yet. So if we go back to that National Association of Realtors November outlook, we can take a look at national pending sales and their National Pending Sales Index, which actually came in fairly low. In fact, it's the lowest month so far yet in 2016. This definitely suggests that there may have been a trend where people have pulled back. Maybe there's a subset of people that were going to list their homes but decided to hold off to wait and see how the election pans out. Or maybe it was buyers that decided to hold back and see how everything panned out before moving forward. So, personally, I expect to see this hangover generated in pending sales to kind of dwindle down as people get more comfortable with the new administration coming into office and just feel a little bit more comfortable with the outlay as what the economy is going to be looking like as we move into 2017. Most of the economic data out there that is a little bit more reactionary to these types of events and can actually respond a little bit more quickly has been fairly positive. So we've all noticed that the stock market is up pretty consistently across the board since the election results have been published, and I'd expect that the real estate markets will follow and things will kind of smooth out as we go into 2017. Locally in Bend, we're seeing the same exact trends. So the month of November was extremely popular for real estate sales. We saw our median home prices raised to about $370,000. Inventories continue to be extremely tight, less than 3 months of supply on the market. And when we look at pending sales, we saw the same drop here. So if we look at pending sales for the last couple of Novembers and compare them to 2016, 2016 did come in a little bit low, suggesting that maybe there were some folks that did hold out on making offers on homes due to the election and what's going on there. So the other thing I wanted to quickly cover, which may definitely impact sales going forward into 2017 and beyond, and was slightly a result of the election, was rising interest rates. So prior to November, there was some talk out there about future inflation coming down the road in our economy in 2017. This did kind of ruffle the bond markets a little bit. Bond prices fell, bond yields rose, and of course that triggers interest rates to rise as well. And with Trump winning the nomination for the presidential nomination, some of his economic policies also help fuel speculation that we may see some rising inflation in the future. So this has kind of doubled down on that effect, and ever since the election has been finalized, we've seen rates continue to increase all the way through December. So one of the things I wanted to try to put some context to is how these rates actually impact a buyer's decision. And if we take a look at where rates are right now and we compare them to, let's say, where rates were back in April, we're seeing about a half a point increase in rates. And if we take a look at the standard median sales price in Bend of $370,000, and we assume that there's a buyer out there who's going to buy that home with a conventional mortgage and 20% down, this half of a point rate increase is going to cost that prospective buyer about $120 a month in their monthly payment. So maybe enough for them to grumble a little bit, but probably not enough for them to actually stop purchasing homes, especially knowing that rates historically are at all-time lows and that most predictions out there show that we're going to see a very strong housing market in 2017. Where we want to be cautious and we want to keep an eye on these rates is if we start to see these increase further throughout 2017 and we start seeing rate increases that maybe are a point or a point and a half above where they're at right now. Now we're talking about monthly payments that could be impacted $300 to $500 a month, and that's more than enough to maybe make people question whether or not they're going to be buying a home. So when I look at what's going on in the market right out there today, if I'm a buyer and I'm thinking that I'm going to be making an offer on a property this spring, I would work really hard and diligently to find that home sooner rather than later, get your offer in, get your rate locked, and buy your house and hopefully build some equity here as we see home prices increase over the course of 2017. If I'm a seller, it's still a great time to sell. There's extremely low inventories on the market right now. A lot of buyers out there looking. Rates are still low, and that really presents an opportunity for you to go out, list your home, get maximum value for it, maybe downsize, move into a smaller home and pull out some of that equity out of your home, or maybe take that equity from the sale of your home and go find your dream home and move somewhere new. So anyway, that's my recap for this month. I'm looking forward to providing these to you every month going forward. And if you have any feedback, feel free to email me. Be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thanks again for your time. Happy holidays and a happy new year. Looking forward to working with you in 2017. Thanks.